Welcome back to statistics, and this is the second video after the hype video, the statistics hype video. If that doesn't pique your interest, I don't know what will. We're going to look at chapter 3. So in chapter 1, we learned statistics terminology. We learned about populations, and we also learned about samples, and we learned how to do a sample, a simple random sample, and we learned that populations have parameters, and parameters are just measures of something in the population, and we might not know the true population parameter, right? We might not know the true average or mean for an entire population of some measure. So we might not know the population parameter, but we could do a sample, like a simple random sample, and there's different ways to do samples. We could do a sample and we could get the sample statistic, which is an estimation of the population parameter. So we learned about this terminology, and we also learned about different categories of categorizing data. We learned about qualitative and quantitative, categorical, numerical, right? So qualitative is categorical, quantitative is numerical. And we also learned that, how do you say black in French? Cat Noir, right? Noir. There's that cartoon Cat Noir. And NOIR is an acronym to help us remember the different categories for categorizing data. And NOIR would be nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. And nominal and ordinal are qualitative and categorical. And interval and ratio are quantitative and numerical. Right? And then, we could look at our data and we could say, oh, this is, going to be nominal data. There's no order to it. It's just like, it's a category, which, software drink do you like better? And we put people into a category. There's no order to it. If there's order to it, then it's no longer nominal, it's ordinal. And ordinal would be like, are you a freshman? Are you a sophomore? Are you a junior or a senior? Those categories have an order to them, right? A, B, C, D, F, those categories have an order to them. And then we have interval and we have ratio. And ratio has true zero. Is that correct? Ratio has a true zero. How many people remember that? Regarding, say yes if it's correct, say aye. Nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. Is ratio the one with a true zero? Give me an example of interval and then one of ratio. And I'm just clarifying because I didn't get my PhD in statistics. They asked me to teach this class. So I want to make sure I'm accurate. And whenever I have a question, we'll clarify and make sure I'm accurate. So we have nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. And ratio is the measurement scale with true meaningful zero. So ratio is like weight, height, age, income. You can't have negative height. You can't have, in our physical reality as we understand it without getting metaphysical and philosophical, you can't have negative age. Right? You can't have negative weight, So there's a true zero. It's like a zero. It's a ratio. But interval is like temperature. There is, negative values. There's negative Fahrenheit, negative Celsius. All right, so that's those are those. That's chapter 1, terminology and those concepts. And it's a really important foundation, really important concepts. How many people hearing that again is useful for you? Say aye. How many people it's like, come on, can we keep going? Can we move a little quicker? Say aye. Aye. Okay, good. All right, and then we hit chapter 2. What did we cover in chapter 2? We covered last week, module 2. No. We covered charts. Charts, yeah, we looked at charts. And so we learned that in chapter 1, when we're using a sample statistic to estimate a population parameter, we're making an inference. And so that's known as inferential statistics. Inferential statistics. Did I hit record? Thank goodness. That's inferential statistics. And then in chapter 2, module 2, there's descriptive statistics. And I have like 98% certainty on that. So we're going to say define inferential statistics. And what is the other one? Descriptive statistics. Now my certainty is running to 80%. Yay, they're both correct. Descriptive statistics are used to describe and summarize the data you actually collected, right? And we have graphical descriptive statistics like charts. And then this week we're going to look at numerical descriptive statistics. So different numerical measures to describe the data we've collected. And inferential statistics are used to make conclusions or predictions about a larger population based on a sample. All right, so we also got these terms, inferential statistics and descriptive statistics. And part of any culture is learning the language of that culture, and so that's what we're doing. And then here in chapter 3, what we're going to learn is we're going to learn descriptive statistics using numerical measures, right? So last week we were looking at charts and graphs, and then we also looked at frequency tables and frequency ratios, right? Like how often out of a whole is something occurring. And so we looked at that last week. This week we're going to look at these things here, which are numerical measurements, numerical descriptive statistics, to use numbers to talk about the data we've collected. Does that all sound good? Say aye. You understand it? Say aye. All right, you're excited to be here? Say aye. All right, good.